So I've got the Foul Blightspawn from Conquest magazine that I'll be building today. I've got a separate 25mm base to use the little nurgling as a counter to track when he's used his grenade, because he can use a grenade to be a super blight grenade, so I think that's worth tracking as a separate counter, so the little nurgling's going on a separate base. So the tools I'll be using are a craft knife, a pair of clippers, some thin plastic cement. For basing I've got sand, stones and the Citadel Skulls box. So I'll be doing that at the end. So I'm going to start by clipping all these pieces from the sprue. I'm going to lay them out in the order to assemble them, and I'm going to clean off all the mould lines using the knife. If you're young or a little unsteady with your hands, use a mould line remover, because it is so much harder to stab yourself with one of those than it is with a knife. But I'm still not that old or too young, so I'm okay to just use the edge of a craft knife. So I'm going to come back with all the pieces separated and cleaned, ready to assemble. So with all the pieces cleaned, I'm ready to start assembling. So a little bit of plastic glue. I'm going to start with basing the nurgling and then leaving that to dry over here. The next stage is going to be taking pieces 1 and 2, dry fitting them, and then again applying a bit of plastic glue around there and a little bit here where that joins, and then that goes together. So we then have this leg, which is going to go in here. Again, absolutely fine dry fit, bit of glue, and then in that goes. With this I'm going to have to hold it for a minute to ensure it sticks. So the balance isn't great at this point. So before I put that on the front, I'm going to stick the face on. So that's the dry fit, and it fits. I could use a little more smoothing down, like so, and now that slots in perfectly. So now a little bit of plastic glue, line this up, and it's very important this is lined up correctly. On both sides, so like so. Then what we want to do is find where that links there, so right there between those two skulls, and that links there, and join those together. And the last thing is this on this side, where this is going to connect into here on the side here. So you've got 3 points of contact here, here and here. So a little bit of plastic glue there, a little bit of plastic glue there, and a little bit of plastic glue on here. and then that goes together. So then we find a nice place to put it on the base. This model is a bit heavy on the top, so you can see how it poses there. And some glue on the feet. Like so. Put that to one side while it dries for a second. In the meantime, we're going to get the extra details we're going to put on the Nurgling's base. So this little fella needs a couple of things by him, so we'll give him a couple of rocks. First rock. I'm not using too much glue. Second rock. And we'll have a nice third rock here, I think. We want to be able to get to the bottom of the foot, and then pop the super glue to one side. We've got a nice skull to go on the front of the base as well. Bit of plastic glue on that guy. And then pop that there. So we've then got a nice little based Nurgling. I'm going to put some PVA and sand on this guy. I've got the PVA ready. I'll be applying that after I finish the video. And then we've got this guy again. We've got some more rocks just to make the base a little more 3D. Because if we were to go with just sand, we'd have a base that was very two-dimensional. But we don't want to put the rocks too close to the model itself, because it might give us some issues with painting it. You also don't want to have a big pile of rocks next to each other. Just enough to break up the base a bit. So with that done, we've got another skull. That we can pop down here next to this rock. And I think I'll put down one more small rock here. So as you can see, we've put some rocks down, we put a skull down, and we've got a fully assembled model. Looking at it, looks like it'll be interesting to paint. There's a lot of detail there. In the game, these are incredibly good. If you can take several, take several. But comparing it to the Biologus Putrefier that I also got from Conquest and have built and I've got ready to base and spray, I like this one a bit better, but this one does have some really nice details on. But it'll be good to get them both painted up. My Deathguard do need some characters in, do need some other things, but my Deathguard is coming along nicely. So, verdict, model is really quite nice. Going to leave it to dry a minute, then base it. I found them to be pretty easy to put together. Things you've got to be careful of are this leg. It can be a little bit flexible. I had to move it slightly while I was getting it put on the base while the glue was still soft. But everything else goes in exactly. You've got to make sure you line this body up or this arm will not fit. Things to watch for: making sure you get the mould lines off of this, making sure you got the mould lines off of this tube, because that will show really obviously if you don't. But otherwise, really nice model, went together really quickly, as you can see, and I would recommend it to anybody. So I got this from Conquest, which is why it's the Deathguard green colour. So you could, if you're being a bit naughty, pop this straight down on a tabletop. I'm of course going to paint them before playing with them, but really nice models. And I do very much like doing the Nurgling separately, so that he can be the counter that shows when you've used the special grenade. If you've liked this video, hit like and subscribe. If you want to chat, leave a comment below. Otherwise, good gaming!